sin. My hatred caresses your skin. This torment you choose to live in will hide all my sins. Will hide all my sins. Will hide all my sins.
Wonderful stuff. Claire and John out of New Haven. Fantastic family too. I talk about them all the time. However, I am highly amused by the way that the media are playing around with tennis. Because yesterday there was a headline where the Wimbledon hierarchy said to players, you can only touch your own balls because of coronavirus. So of course the headline was, you can only touch your own balls. Now today apparently they've reversed the dictum, because it's almost impossible to what happens if you hit the other person's ball and it falls on your side of the net. So today the Daily Star has said you can touch each other's balls. So don't misinterpret that as you go through the day. But anyway, now apparently Wimbledonians can touch each other's balls. It's where some of these people actually get their headlines from, I have no idea. A bit more serious. Boris has taken off to Scotland to make a couple of speeches or so, to try and keep the United Kingdom united. And the Scots, apparently now, the sentiment is swinging towards independence. I think that it would be a pity to see Scotland go, because I think they would regret it. And I think that probably coronavirus, everything that's happening at the moment, a fairly weak, inconsequential government that makes a lot of noise but actually fumbles the ball frequently in Westminster, is now making the Scots think that Nicola Sturgeon has got something. She's been pounding her message for years and years and years, and that perhaps they might leave. I think it would be a pity. But I think that in the long run, if given the chance for another referendum, that they should think very carefully. Yes, we all thought very carefully in Britain, and there are some people, particularly as some of the older people die off, and the younger people don't think very much nowadays. There's a move to why did we do Brexit? But if we saw the unseemly row between the various states and the executive in Europe over the last few days, I think perhaps sitting on the outside looking in makes us realise what we've managed to escape. The fact is that Brussels, rather than easing power, is establishing a tighter grip over the constituent parts. For the first time, it's been given 600 billion or so to dish out, and it's been given by the constituent states the right to spend that in a recovery plan right across Europe. What's wrong with that, people say? Well, the big flaw in the EU, and I sit on the fence, I suppose, when it comes to Brexit. I don't think I would have been terribly upset if we hadn't have left until the issue came to the fore. But the big problem with Brexit is it is undemocratic. The EU is undemocratic. It is run by an unelected elite. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to live in that sort of situation, because if you want to go back in British history, some of the worst crimes, if you like, against humanity, some of the worst excesses of spending was when we had authoritarian rule. And the Battle of Lewes, which took place in 1264, and for some reason it's not widely taught. Well, it is in America, but it's not widely taught here. The Battle of Lewes was all about the Baron saying to the king, listen, we want a little bit of power because you are spending our money. And whenever you run short, what you do is you don't just come tapping our treasuries, you come and demand it, and we have to give it. So we want to say. And that was what the Battle of Lewes, and it was about 15 to 20,000 men, as I understand it. And we keep on digging up piles of bones from where people were buried. It was a vicious, vicious, vicious battle. And it was all about making sure that a central government, if you like, the king, didn't have the power to spend the money and to enter into the excesses which the divine right of kings had bestowed upon the monarch from time immemorial. Well, do we really want to go into an organisation that is exactly constituted in the same way? I'm not reopening the Brexit argument, but all I'm saying is that, for the moment anyway, it doesn't look as if that executive has learned a lesson. And are we about to see another Battle of Lewes? Ho, ho, ho. No, we're not, because we don't fight that way anymore. We do at least do it through the ballot box. But, I'm sorry, I feel very queasy. And I've lived in countries where there's been a dictatorship, or they've recently just come out from under a dictatorship. And when you read about freedom, you know, it all sounds as if today we're under a dictator. Wham! We got rid of him. Tomorrow we parade through the streets and we cheer. And then the day after it's all going to be different. Well, it's not. One of the things about Ceausescu in Romania is that he was actually toppled not by the people, oh, it looked that way, but not by the people, but by other groups vying for power. That's why they topped him. It's all very complicated, and I just would much rather think that I was free as a bird. Now, why don't I just let's see, because there was a nice one yesterday, I think, that I picked, because I must have been just rambling this morning. I was 23 minutes into this program. UK plans for winter quadruple whammy. It looks as if they're suggesting that what we're going to do is we're going to have the virus come back fiercely. Oh, that wouldn't happen. Oh, that it doesn't happen. A friend talking to me on the phone last night said, I'm really worried about the fact that the Chinese and the Americans and us are all fighting, and that this could produce the Third World War. God forbid that it should. But in many ways, the big threat to mankind, to all three of those entities, and to the rest, pull in Russia, pull in the EU, the threat is cyber attack. We've relied so much upon computers, it's easy to get us. It's easy to immobilize an air force. It's easy to send an army in the wrong direction. It's easy, which is the most frightening thing, to cripple an economy. Those are the things which you have to watch out. That's what we have to watch out for. Let's play Sunnyside. That was rather jolly, but it was rather short, wasn't it? I was still looking at the news headlines. So it's, and it does look as if the government, despite the fact that the Prime Minister is saying it'll all be over by Christmas and we can really look forward to a nice Christmas, is that that's not the case, and that the government is actually planning for what they call a triple whammy. That is flooding, which is very likely with the way that the weather and the environment has been going and the way we've abused it, a resurge of coronavirus, and being hit by flu. And all of this, remember, in a weakened economy. Where are we going to pay for things? This EU debate over the weekend, where you blithely talk about 600 billion and so on in modern terms of world economies. The fact is that that's got to be found somewhere. And where is it going to come from, particularly as economies begin to collapse? Quite often, if no work is done, people don't get paid. People don't get paid, they don't pay any taxes. The government hasn't got any money. Then it has to go and borrow. So, in fact, the world is in danger, to me, and this is just simple economics. The world is in danger of putting its life, its future, in the hands of a few really, really wealthy groups or people. And they have not been known, either in the past or in the present, to be the kindliest of people. Money can be power, and power can be abused. Very sad, but there we are. That's the way it has been, and there is no evidence to suggest it's going to be any different in the future. So yes, are we really going to be in this as we approach Christmas? I hope not, but I fear. 29 minutes and 14 seconds we've been on the air. I don't know where it went. Can't remember what I said. Do remember sneezing. But let's play ourselves out this morning, literally, leisurely.